The Better Business Analyst Institute
presents the Better Business Analyst Podcast with
Benjamin Walsh. Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Better Business Analyst Podcast with Benjamin Walsh. And today we're going to be diving into a critical topic for all business analysts out there, and that is emotional intelligence, or EQ. You sometimes hear it referred to as EQ. And I'm going to give you 10 practical tips to enhance your EQ and why EQ and why these tips are essential for your role, okay? A lot of BA involves EQ, not just IQ. So first up, we have self-awareness. Before a meeting, take a moment to reflect on your current emotional state. Sometimes you're just starting to feel pretty negative. You're just not in the right mindset. Try and not bring that into the meeting with you, okay? Are you feeling stressed or calm? Recognize that. And just the art of recognizing it can help make you manage your reactions better during the meeting. It may be you may be having a meeting with a group of people which contains an individual that's just pissed you off. Okay, so self-awareness helps BAs understand their emotions and how their emotions affect their interactions with stakeholders. And if you understand that, it's just awareness, then it helps you lead to more effective communication and decision making. The next one is self-regulation. If a project deadline is missed, instead of reacting like impulsively, take a deep breath, assess the situation calmly before responding. Don't freak out. Don't work the weekends. Just take a breath. Self-regulation allows BAs to maintain professionalism, which is really important, and composure. I need to work on this myself. Even in stressful situations, it's critical for maintaining trust and credibility. And so sometimes you do act out, and I recognize I did that a little bit last week. I think the situation I freaked out about and what I was talking about was fair, but I did it in an open office. And so that can look unprofessional. It can look like you're not maintaining your composure. And then that can reduce trust and credibility, especially for people that haven't interacted with you before. The next one there is empathy. So important. I talk about it often. When a team member expresses frustration, actively listen to them. Acknowledge their feelings before offering solutions. Okay? Empathy helps BAs build strong relationships with stakeholders. It helps us foster collaboration and being supportive in a work environment. So empathy is quite interesting. Providing empathy doesn't mean that you are constantly having to pull up team members who are really down or always dragging you down, okay? Chicken licking effect, I call it. The sky is falling. It's different. When someone, though, is having a really hard time, you can actively listen to them, okay? And again, usually if someone is calling out that everything's going to break and everything's going to go wrong, there's usually a root cause there. So apply root cause analysis to help them out. Next is about improving your social skills. It's so vital. During a project kickoff meeting, engage with team members, ask open-ended questions, show genuine interest in their contribution, find out more about it. Sometimes we don't spend enough time on this. Strong social skills enable BAs to facilitate effective teamwork, and it ensures that all voices are heard, leading to better project outcomes. Look, I do this sometimes when we're in a room and there will be someone who's really quiet, and I will dominate the room, and I'll say, "Hey, look, Joe, you haven't said anything. What do you think?" And Joe might be an introvert, or Joe may just had nothing to say, or Joe is not used to having their voice heard. It's really important. Those people are usually critical. Next, let's discuss motivation. It's really important for you to set personal goals for learning new skills and achieving project milestones, celebrating victories along the way. Motivation drives BAs to continuously improve and stay focused on delivering value to the organization. If I feel demotivated, I will go and do a pet project outside of work. I'll learn a new skill, okay? And that will help me motivate, and focus, and make me feel like I've got some self-worth. And that links to this next one, which is managing stress, something I am not good at. It is another key aspect that's really important. You need to incorporate regular breaks and mindfulness exercises into your daily routine. I have now take walks, and I will force myself. I'll set alarms to take a short break, so I'm not constantly at the computer. I'm trying to go in the office more and not work at home. But the mindfulness thing, I know how good it is. I have done yoga before. I've been on a retreat, and mindfulness just doesn't come easy for me in a work environment. It does when I'm on holiday, though. So, effective stress management helps BAs maintain clarity and focus, which is essential for making sound decisions and actually just not spazzing out. The other one that I'm getting better at is practicing active listening. During a requirements gathering session or elicitation session, I don't really like the term gathering, you need to actively listen intently to stakeholders without interrupting, even if you think you know what they're going to finish with or you've got a solution already, and then paraphrase their points back to them to ensure understanding. Active listening requires a BA to capture the stakeholders' needs and requirements, and it helps reduce the risk of misunderstanding and rework. Now, the trick to active listening is acknowledging that you've heard. So I'm someone who will think very quickly and will have a response, and it's not just any response. I usually hope that it's an educated, logical response, and it might be straight away after someone's finished talking. Now, that's a skill for me, but it can also be a weakness because it can mean that the person who's just talked, and they might not be someone who thinks the way I do, that I haven't really listened to their point or thought about it deeply, even if I have. So I have to acknowledge, hey, look, I've heard you. You said the following things before I start giving my opinion. The other thing is to seek feedback, right? These are areas that I know that I need to improve on. And so this is all around feedback. It's really awkward. I've done it a number of times. I've heard feedback that I still think about now, 10 years later. But after you complete a project or you interact with stakeholders on a big piece of work, ask for feedback on your performance and areas for improvement. That's really weird and scary, isn't it? But seeking feedback helps BAs identify strengths and areas for growth, leading to continuous improvement and better stakeholder relationships. So you want positive reinforcement, of course, and you want positive feedback or constructive criticism. You say, was there anything I could do better? I had a workshop and I asked for feedback. I do that often. And I say, what's one thing you loved, one thing you didn't like much, and one thing that I could add for next time? And I always ask that. And that's a good way of just removing the individual. This is really around you, though, as an individual, and you need to seek feedback, okay? Now, the other thing, which is how you react to feedback, is resilience. It's essential. When faced with a project setback, right, you need to focus on solutions rather than the problem and the glass half empty and the sky's falling. Resilience enables BAs to navigate challenges and setbacks with a positive attitude. It's really, really important. Whenever I find I am starting to be really negative or caught up in a negative loop of delivery dates, I step back and go, actually, there is always a way forward here. And it's usually why I'm hired to work on complicated projects. But if I lose my positivity and I start getting negative, I start feeling bad, okay? And it stresses me out. So that resilience is actually really important. And if you do start getting negative, shake it off, go for a walk, have a cup of coffee. Now, finally, the last one, number 10, is around fostering positive relationships. It links to what I've just talked about. If you're positive, people are going to want to spend more time with you. If you are negative, people generally might want to keep away from you. So take the time to get to know your colleagues and stakeholders on a personal level. Show appreciation for their contributions, right? Give them positive feedback, right? It's not just to they're so nice because they want something. It's real positive relationships that create a supportive and collaborative work environment. This is essential for successful project outcomes and just a happy team. Okay? So there you have it. 10 tips for enhancing your emotional intelligence as a business analyst. I work on these every day. I think you could find at least one there that you could get better at. Remember, developing these softer skills is so important, right? It's even more important than your technical abilities. I'll see you next week.